Hello, my name's Genevieve, and I'm a Ramdas and Neem Karoli Baba devotee. And I have just moved into a beautiful home. And last night they actually held Bible study, and I joined. I grew up Catholic, and it was really beautiful. We spoke about the Garden of Eden. And here are some of my takeaways about the Garden of Eden. After studying Ram Dass for so long, he speaks a lot about this. And the Garden of Eden story starts with God makes man from earth, and then from there he breathes spirit into him. He uses his breath for spirit. And instantly, when he said that, I thought, oh, wow, that's so interesting, because they say to breathe is to prosper. And spiro in some kind of language means the spirit. And Ramdas and in Vipassana, you often say just keep coming back to your breath, and that's how you'll remember God. And so that's with the mantra Ram as well, or any mantra that just allows you just to continually have God on your breath, just remembering that it's just like here now, like it's not you. And so when I read that first little bit in the Garden of Eden story, I thought, oh, wow, there's like a very good description of just like, yeah, he breathed his breath into us. And the breath is the only thing that is constant to us. So it's always there and it keeps you alive. So that's the first thing. My Chinese medicine teacher, second thing, always tells do a to allow yourself, just not get ahead of yourself, and to just come back to the present moment. I get a bit excited. So the second thing is he breathed the spirit into man, and then he put man on the earth, and he allowed man to come down and had animals, and then there was like a few rivers. There's a little bit more to the story in the sense of it's irrelevant, but then there's two trees, and he says there's the tree of knowledge and the tree of good and evil. I think maybe I've got it wrong, but there's two trees, and he says don't eat from one of the trees, otherwise you'll die. And then God then creates a partner for Adam, and it's Eve, and then the snake comes up to Eve and tells Eve what you should definitely eat from that tree, because if you eat from that tree, you'll be like God. He's just tricking you. He doesn't want you to eat from the tree, because then you'll be like him, but you can be him. And so Eve eats the apple from the tree and gives it to Adam. And then at that stage, God comes back in, and they're like, "Where, Adam, Eve, where are you?" And they're hiding behind a tree with a fig leaf for clothing, because suddenly they have self-realization, self-consciousness of who they are. And I think this is such a beautiful story in regards to the ego and to consciousness. So, the whole purpose, I believe, of the spiritual path is to just keep coming back to your breath, surrendering the ego, surrendering your mind thoughts about how you think it should be, and just keep coming back to the breath and just aligning back with the one, with God. Because when Adam and Eve was with God, they were one with it all. But once you bring in the mind, once you bring in the ego, then you become separate. And that's where this separate ego structure comes in, which knows good and bad and like thinks for ourselves. Which can cause suffering, it causes craving, desires, because suddenly we know things, we see things, and I think that for me is such a beautiful reflection, especially because God also says in that moment, like, hey guys, where are you? But it's funny because God wouldn't have to speak, because you're one with him, but it's just showing there's that separation now. And when you were with him, it was just this oneness. So that was really beautiful. And I think what was really interesting to me is that at the end, then he starts like saying, oh gosh, because of this, like these are the consequences, and there's all these bad consequences. And it's like pain in childbirth, you're going to have to toil the soil, you're going to be miserable, like there's all this stuff. And it's a little bit far-fetched, but when I was in Vipassana, like I was one with everything and I didn't feel pain. So maybe that's what he's saying in regards to childbirth and pain. That's a bit of a stretch, but I'll go there. And then at the end, he said, and you will be returned to the dust. And in the Hindu text, the Ramayana, Sita is returned to the dust. And I think I believe in reincarnation. And so I believe it's such a beautiful statement in the first Adam and Eve opening line that they were born from dust and they're now going to keep on returning to dust until probably they get enlightenment and they become one with God again. So yeah, it's been beautiful to look as well in regards to like Sita and Ram, in regards to like the desire and the God, because Sita the woman is always represented as like the mind, the desire, like we have to save her. And like Eve was like the desire to eat the fruit, to go there as well. And I was saying, and I don't know if this is correct, but I think like the masculine feminine is like the feminine is like that desire, that I don't know how truly I believe that, so I'm going to stop. But yeah, I think when I saw that similarity, I thought, oh wow, um, that whole, we're always just trying to save ourselves from this craving, clinging desire, and just coming back to God. Um, so I think that was all that was really on my mind from it. But yeah, it's a beautiful journey. I think, Ram Dass has so much to offer in a way of how to connect with God. And it's such a scary word for so many people because it's been so demonized, but that the essence that's behind everything, that's the same essence in Buddhism to Hinduism to Christianity to Jesus. It's all love and it's all oneness, and it's a sea of peace. So I just love Ram Dass so much. He for me is really just hits the nail on the head every time for my soul, and it's always about love. It's always about seeing where you're stuck in your own life and bringing love and joy to it just to become a better person. So I send you so much love. I send you so much peace. May you be happy. May you be free. May you be free from suffering. Bye.